Peace and Black Power family. This is your Harlem educator, author, and activist, Brother Agyei Tyehimba. I'm filming live on location in Harlem. Family, I'm forced to just wait a few minutes for some people to get up in this thread. I got some stuff to talk about today, family. Not an early bird special, because I got back home so early in the morning that would have been my early bird special. So brother had to get some revolutionary rest. You got to get rest. Can't work all the time. And so I see Brother Carl Tone Jones in the building. I'm going to be talking about my brother Carl and some other brothers in the building in a minute. Brother Carl, do me a favor. I know you already probably did, but please share. Everyone, if you're watching this, please share this video. What I'm going to say, I like to think everything I talk about is important in some way, shape, form, or fashion. But what I'm talking about today is of critical importance. It's talking about our actual survival as a people on this planet. Survival, development, and liberation. That is what we're talking about today. And my recent experiences and study and reflections have led me to certain conclusions that I want to share with you, family. Conclusions I want you to really think about deeply and to move on. I see my sister Crystal Denise in the building. Excellent job, my sister, at the event on Sunday. Much respect for you. Revolutionary Black Love. I see Thomas Kane in the building. Gerald Jacob, Walter Beach. Brother Mukasa Shakur's in the building. I tagged quite a few people to watch this. I hope many of them are able to show up. Our family, first of all, Wukusu, Wukusu, Wukusu. Wake up, clean up, stand up, Black man and woman, African man and woman. We got to reclaim that which was stolen from us. We have to build that which we need. We have to learn that upon which we are ignorant. And we have to organize our people and do so with a spirit of optimism. We cannot win if we're cynical and pessimistic and you already cut your legs off before the race even started. Family, I want to say, the brother Darren, peace. Latia Taylor, peace and love back to you, my sister. Family, I just came back from the first annual conference of a brotherhood of which I'm one of the several founding members of, called the National Black Liberation Front. And these are brothers from different parts of the country who are Black nationalists, who are Pan-Africanists, who believe in the quintessential Black nationalist principles of self-defense, self-reliance, self-determination for Black people, and Black people not simply wanting to stay on the plantation with a better paying job, not simply staying on the plantation with better clothes, food, clothing, and shelter provided by our master. But we are brothers of the National Black Liberation Front. We believe that the root word of nationalist is nation. So we uphold our right and responsibility as Black people to not just seek to assimilate into a ready-made nation, but to eke out our own existence as a fully functioning, independent, and sovereign Black nation. Whether that is in fact a nation that is separate and distinct, or a nation that operates and functions as one within a nation. Sister Shannon Lane in the building. Peace, Sister Wukusu. So I want to just share some of my reflections, family, from this trip. I returned early this morning. Myself and other brothers of the National Black Liberation Front called our first national conference, and we converged in Mississippi, family. Well, we split our time between Mississippi and Tennessee. And we converged from different parts of the nation to talk about what are the liberation templates that we respectively bring to the table. We believe what our brother Neely Fuller Jr. told us, that white supremacy exerts its power and influence over our people in 9 areas of human activity. I'm not going to go into them now. And so there's a few things I want to say. One of the challenges of us being able to organize nationally and internationally is that we have certain beliefs, stereotypes, false judgments of each other. And these must be completely murdered, completely exterminated, never to reappear again if we're going to really move in the way we must move. So what do I mean? What are some examples? Sometimes we can get so caught up and preoccupied in our particular area of expertise, in our particular knowledge base, in our particular gift or contribution, that we fail to see how we need several swords. I give the analogy oftentimes if Neely Fuller says that we're oppressed in 9 areas, this means white supremacy is at minimum a 9-headed dragon. This means it is no longer enough for people to say, we need black credit unions because their thing is black credit unions. So they think that's the answer. Their particular area of expertise is the answer. Wrong. It's part of the answer. It's 1/9 of the answer. But Neely Fuller said we got to look at war. So we need people that deal with military and self-defense. But it would be wrong for them to think all we need is military and self-defense. Get the heat. Let's get in formation. You're wrong. You're special, but you're not that special that your particular contribution outweighs and is more important than the other ones. So military people, we love you, we need you, but you're 1/9 of the answer. Am I making sense, family? Talk black to me. I want to make sure y'all are feeling me, because we can get very provincial and parochial and arrogant and think that because our shit is the shit to us, that it's the complete shit. No, it's 1/9 of the answer. Media, our filmmakers, documentarians, our people that do broadcast news, guerrilla journalism. Is what you do important? Is it necessary? Yes. But our independent black media people, you are just 1/9 of the answer. Are y'all feeling me here? Don't ever think that because what you're doing in your neck of the woods is working and it's important, that it's everything we need. If we go forward with that thinking, we will most certainly continue to lose. Okay? Educators. I see Marcus Klein is in the building. A brother who I have much love, respect, and admiration for based on his work. You can't look at that brother's work and not love what he's doing and what he's about. You gotta love that brother and his work. I'm an educator. Brother Marcus Klein has built several African-centered community homeschools, family. And I believe he has one on the continent. Brother Marcus Klein, if you would be so kind, please leave us a link on this thread so people can learn more about your work in your schools. They can see your children in action. They speak in other languages. They're accelerated in math and vocabulary and reading. Y'all got to know what our people, our beautiful people, are doing all over this country so we can murder the myth that no black person's doing nothing, that all we do is talk. That needs to be murdered and never be allowed to be resurrected. So, people like myself, Marcus Klein, Walimu Baruti, all the people across this country that's advocating for African-centered schools, that have built actual middle schools like myself, people who write books and talk about education, guess what? That's important, right? It's necessary, right? But will simply building schools and giving our people correct black liberation, nation building consciousness, will that solve all our problems? No, it is 1/9 of the answer. If Neely Fuller told us that we're oppressed in 9 areas, that means we must have 9 responses that are effective, that have an African black centered and liberational consciousness. I hope I'm being very clear. I am not knocking anyone. What I'm actually doing is giving love and respect to all the elements of our community that constitute those important nation building elements. But we got to get out of this thing, family, that you think because your thing is popping, that your thing is the answer. We got to get out of that, because if we stay in that, we will not be able to see the truth and the beauty of Africans all over the world in this country and even in our own cities. There's people that say I'm nationalist, but they don't rock with other black nationalists in the community they're in, because they don't see their contribution as being important. I can't tell you how many times I've said this, at least over the last 10 years. You're special, but you're not that special. You're not so special that you as a speck of sand in a whole beach is more important than the other specks. We are a movement by ourselves, but we're a force when we're together, as Neo told us in the song. And so I want to get that out there. Now I want to say, family, this conference that we had over from, I'm going to say Friday to Sunday, was most beautiful, most powerful. We are all brothers. And I'm going to say names. I want to call names, man. I want to shout this. I want to put muscle to this skeleton so y'all know this is real. I put up some pictures. I put up some video. Other brothers have put up video, but I want to make sure you know this is real. We talking about myself, Brother Shaka Shakur, formerly from New York, relocated in Georgia. Beautiful brother. Brother Samaj Kelly, working with Harlem Liberation School. You know, we used to work with Brother Shaka with the Black Soldiers and the People's Survival Programs. Right? Beautiful brother with a beautiful heart. We talking about Brother Carl Tone Jones out of Philly. Got his Independence Day project film that we screened right at Harlem Liberation School. Beautiful brother. Beautiful heart. We got Brother LaCarlos Bowles. We call him Los. Huh? We got Brother Patrick Alexander. These are brothers of the Black Liberation Movement organization in Mississippi. He just popped up in the post. Brother Abdul, our mixed martial arts champion out of Mississippi, undefeated, family. Young brother, involved with the Republic of New Africa, keeping the important principles of black nationalism and nationhood alive and well. When I saw that young brother, man, I was moved, man. I'm thinking, wow, if Chokwe Lumumba could see, you know, that those ideas that he helped to instill are still going strong in the elements of this country, how moved he would be. Okay? And I think I covered everyone. If I missed anyone, MBLF members, let me know. Please, I don't want to disregard anyone. So we came to Mississippi and to Tennessee, and we did our conference. We shared our liberation templates, the things we're doing back in our respective cities that seem to be working, that we believe address one of these 9 areas of nationhood that we have to deal with, right? And we formed solid connections. And then we met with the larger Black community in Mississippi in what was a most moving and powerful event. And then we met Dr. Laverne Murphy, who's doing big things in Chicago. We're talking about Black-owned credit unions, family. We're talking about Black construction and realty companies, family. We are not taking nationhood in some lightweight way. We're very serious about the concept of nationhood. But we also know that Agyei doing Harlem Liberation School is great for Harlem. It's great for Harlem and the people in the tri-state area. But what's it doing for people in Tennessee, in Oakland, in Detroit, in Virginia, in Florida? And that's how we got to think. We don't have a national movement right now. What we have are local, small and scattered and disconnected local movements that are doing good things, run and involved in by good people. But we need national movement. So to have national movement, it means you must have people from different parts of this nation on the same page with the same basic ideological framework. In my opinion, we're looking at nationalism and Pan-Africanism, and people who are humble enough to say, listen, this is my expertise I bring to the table, but I'm very clear that we need more than just this or that. We need all of it to have a fully functioning nation. For those who still don't understand, if we say that agriculture, farming our land, growing our own food is important, only a complete retard can disagree with that. Of course that's important. We got to be able to provide our own food, clothing, and shelter. Or you can't even say you're independent. However, is agriculture all we need? Well, no, because when we start thinking about it, look at your human body. If food was all we need, if it was all about the nourishment we get from food, then our bodies would have a mouth, a throat, a stomach, and intestines, and the means for all that to come out the body. Correct? Am I making sense? But no, your human body has all the things it needs to eat and to derive the nutrients from the food that it consumes, to eliminate the waste of the food it consumes, to properly assimilate those nutrients from that food throughout the blood to all the organs of the body. But guess what? Your body has an immune system, self-defense. Your body has a system that protects it from foreign invaders, viruses that are bad, that will do your body harm. Your body also has a nervous system that feels and that sends messages throughout the body, warning of pain, danger, giving us pleasure, all of these things. Your body has a brain with the left and right hemisphere. One side of the brain that deals with math, precision, calculation, analysis, and logic and rationality. The other hemisphere dealing with consciousness, intuition, spirit, creativity. And all of these systems work together to maintain what we call our human body. Rob the body of any one of those systems and you'd be a hopeless hot mess. All of those systems are necessary. So the challenge to us organizing nationally is to be able to be humble. Humility is the cornerstone of greatness. Not how much you know, what you've done. You can do all that, be arrogant, don't connect with people who you can learn from, who are resources to you, and you'll never reach your maximum self. We have to constantly critique ourselves, constantly look at where we fall short, constantly assess our strengths and deficiencies. And then once we assess those things, we need to now make connections with people and institutions that will be strong where we are weak, that will provide protection and security, that will grow that food that we can eat and know that we're not eating no damn clone chickens from the goddamn white man, family. I'm going to say it. Some of us are afraid to say white man today. Oh, Brother Khaled, I invoke your spirit. We can't be afraid. Some of us don't even want to say black people. We born into this people of color, ambiguous bullshit that does not allow us to discern that, no, there are people who are African and African descendant, part of the diaspora, that we rock with because they engage and acknowledge their Africanity and they connect to their Africanity. Then there's people of color who are part of the African diaspora that hate every drop of their African blood, who are active agents of our oppression, who deliberately and knowingly work with our collaborators and enemies. I don't feel beholden to help people just because they're Latino. I don't see connections with people just because they come from Central America. No, they got to go to your consciousness, your intentionality. You feel me, family? Okay. One of the things I thought about, peace, Rock Soldier, peace, Wukusu, Brother Shaka Shakur in the building, Sister Christine Rickett in the building. Thanks for joining. These brothers that I'm working with, family, we're all founding members of the National Black Liberation Front. We went to Mississippi, we went to Tennessee. One of the things that dawned on me is we have to start really thinking about our location. Where are we living in this country? What are the challenges and the benefits of where we live? And how might we reassess and reconsider where we are living and how where we live impacts our ability to survive and develop, take care of our families, be safe and secure, and mount an effective liberation movement. So I just want you to think about this. Brother Patrick Alexander, who is the founder and head of the Black Liberation Movement organization in Mississippi, he said a few things that really made me think. He says, Brother Agyei, Brother Agyei, he said, out of populations of cities in this country that have over 100,000 people, Mississippi has 3 to 6 of the largest black populations in the country. Different townships or cities in Mississippi with these huge black populations. And this is generally the case for many places in the South, family, that have these. Mississippi is not uncommon to go into a Mississippi township that's 90% black, 85% black. And there are other places in the country in the South that boast 50, 60, 70% black populations. Okay? The other thing that I noticed, Mississippi, like Houston, is an open carry state. When we were doing our event on Sunday at this particular community center in Mississippi, they had brothers Darrow Davis. Where you at, soldier? You in the thread? They had my brother OG Hollywood in the building. You in the thread, OG? All right. These brothers were their security force. But these brothers weren't just standing there with the arms folded looking serious. These brothers were carrying weapons that were locked and loaded openly on their hip. I said, well, I'll be damned. I must have died and gone to heaven. This is what I'm talking about. Not concealed. Ain't got to be going through all these dumb laws to disarm our people. Open. They got that gun on they had them guns on their hip. And that has a way of letting people know that we're protecting people in here and ideas that are valuable. Don't start none, won't be none. We went into the fields. This is farmland that has either been donated or purchased by the Black Liberation Movement in Mississippi that is working closely with what? The National Black Liberation Front, because Brother Patrick, who started the Black Liberation Movement organization, is a member of the National Black United Front. And you may have seen the video I did, or Carl Tone Jones did, going through this was just a 30-acre plot of land. There's other plots. And we're picking up peppers, green and yellow and red peppers right from the earth. And we showed you this. We're going and plucking watermelons right off the ground, carving them up later that night, cut them up and was eating it, family. We showed you this. Pear trees, tomatoes. So when we talk about nationhood, we're taking it seriously. And this experience was really moving to see the fruits, literally, of our labor. And I mean the pun. The fruits of our labor coming to harvest. So people there with large tracts of land. Where did we stay? When the National Black Liberation Front brothers from up north, like myself, Samaj, Brother Carl, when we came to Mississippi, well, where did we stay? Did we go to the goddamn white man's cracker hotel? No. Did we go to his cracker timeshare? No. We went to a house owned by a black couple that rents it, kind of like a bed and breakfast kind of idea. We got to this house, beautiful patio, room for many cars in the driveway and in the garage, beautiful kitchen, beautiful dining area, washer, dryer, 4 bedrooms that were fully laced. You know what I'm saying, fam? That's where we stayed when we wanted to eat breakfast. Did we go to Denny's? Did we go to IHOP? No. We had our beautiful sister, Mary Sunshine, who made a whole huge breakfast for the family. And we're talking about there were 10 to 15 people there, close to 20, eating breakfast made by a black woman who has love for the people and love for her community. And as we ate that breakfast that nourished our bodies, we had political conversation, even some disagreement that nourished our minds and spirits, family. I want you to really understand that up north, family, we are not in majority populations. Up north, family, we do not have control of law enforcement, the courts, the municipal government at all. At most, we have influence with some people. Influence with some people in power, but we don't have power. Not real power. We don't have huge tracts of uncultivated land that we can, cultivate and that we can grow our own food on. We don't have the ability to guard our events, our leadership, our organizers and organizations effectively with weaponry. Family. We can't walk around in front of Harlem Liberation School with brothers and sisters with guns right on their hip. We got to try to get their bullshit permit. And most of us ain't going to qualify for their permit. Huh? Up here, we got the Negro churches working with the Negro politicians, working with the cracker law enforcement to buy back our guns. Huh? We selling our guns back to the enemy. We got all these laws. You got to conceal this. You can't do that. We don't have no open carry state. So the same law enforcement regime that can shoot on us at will with the most highly militarized weapons, we have no response. We have no response, and only a small segment of our people will qualify and will be awarded those gun permits. And even when you're awarded the gun permits, you can't carry them. You can't carry them to protect yourself. You got the toughest gun laws in the country in New York. So what I'm saying, family, and also in these northern cities with significant but not majority black populations, you got the Latinos, you got all these people coming in. We can't move as a political bloc because we don't have the numbers anymore. We are being outnumbered by other ethnic groups. Asians is flooding in. Latinos are flooding in. All these different people are flooding in. So you can't protect yourself in northern cities properly. You can't form a strong racial political bloc in northern cities because we have so many other ethnic groups that we're minorities in places that were traditionally black. For instance, Harlem is 40% black. I'm going to say that again, because y'all didn't hear me. Harlem is 40% black. 40. Where it used to be 98, 100%. So you see how we're in these northern communities, we are heavily compromised. Heavily compromised. Right? Now, in these southern communities, we got large tracts of uncultivated land that hasn't even been touched yet. Mississippi in particular, you got that Mississippi River, family. It's like the modern day Nile River in the United States, family. Flooding every now and then, providing that rich brown topsoil that's highly fertile, and it lends itself to agriculture. Huh? So we can grow food. We don't have to be in the North. The white man got the genetically modified foods. We get our food from the white man. In the South, you can go from complaining about your agricultural deprivation and lack of control to getting land and planting seed and growing your food. In the South, you can go from we got to defend ourselves to actually defending yourself. Huh? I didn't see a cop one time I was there, except the very day, but an hour before I was getting ready to get on the plane and come back here. It kind of changes things. It equalizes things, family. When the crackers know any or every one of these black people is carrying a gun, it kind of creates other options and opportunities. Up here, these cops, you can't go a block without seeing a cop. Huh? I couldn't believe I was there. I said, damn, I haven't seen a cop. I was waiting and said, where's the cop? I didn't see one until the day I was leaving. Because the situation is different. And also, you have some of these places are controlled again by black people. It's much easier for a black person to control, or black people to control local government when you're in a township that's 90% black. You ain't got all these Asians and Latinos and white folks. It's yours. This is how Chokwe Lumumba's son, Chokwe Lumumba Jr., was able to take over the mayoral seat. This is why in Jackson, Mississippi, much more difficult when you're living in a place where your people is 30%, 40% of the population, right? That politician doesn't have the benefit of having a strong racial political bloc behind them. So I want you to understand, okay? Also, we have a different culture in the South. When I was in front of this community center waiting to go in, just going through my thoughts and taking pictures, several cars of black people rolled by this particular little lane to get to the intersection. And every time they rolled by, I watched them. They went like this. Hey, brother, every single car of black people acknowledged my presence, greeted me. In these northern cities, family, that have become so cold and machine-like, and we don't want to talk to each other. We're afraid if we speak, the person won't respond, or it'll be like, I don't know you. It's a culture. We didn't create the culture. We didn't ask to be there. We're up north because our families caught hell down south back in the day and made a decision to go up north because they were told there were better economic opportunities, and they were told that they would be safer than they were down south. You feel me? So I want you to understand there's a culture there. When they say Southern hospitality, that shit was real. There was times people, I'm going in my pocket, we're going to get these, we're going to get this, we're going to get that. You go in your pocket and say, no, your money ain't welcome here, man. We got this. Get offended if you want to chip in. Up here, these Negroes know you all their life. You have family members. Loan you $10. Yo, you got my $10? 5 minutes after they loaned it to you. Yo, when you gonna have that 10? Because this culture is different here, family up north. It creates a different mentality. People are always stressed. People are rushing. People are driving on the street like they lost their damn mind. You understand? It's a different culture here. But down south, and I'm not saying it's perfect. I'm not selling you a utopian dream, but I'm telling you that there are elements of the culture of our people down south. The land, the ability to arm and defend yourself, people feeling more closely knit, people that will greet each other, see each other as family. It's different. It is different. And I say, Brother Shaka once mentioned to me, you know, Pan-Africanists, we talk about going back to Africa. He said, it's not really necessary we all literally go back to Africa because we got a section of this country that is about as close to Africa as you will get for some of us. And down south, we got fertile land, family, that we can really grow real food on. We have a situation to make our own factories, make our own clothing, and have these huge black populations that will support you, family. One sister that we met, who was a minister, said that all her life she believed in the white Jesus concept, that he's died and came back, and Jesus is going to come back in a chariot, and all types of stuff. She said after study, for 60 years she believed this. This sister got her knowledge herself, Sister Zelma Thomas, Minister Zelma Thomas, made a complete turnaround, took that church, turned it into a community center. I mean, I was just so deeply impressed. And that's the other thing, Sister Ann, the expense. Try getting a studio in Harlem, a 1-bedroom in Harlem. Do you know there's places in the South, family, where you can get an apartment, you can rent a house, rent an entire house, or get you your 1, 2, 3 bedroom that are less expensive than getting a studio or a 1-bedroom apartment up here in the North. Why? The crackers got it, family. What I'm trying to tell you, and I know some of y'all think I'm exaggerating, the white man won in the North, y'all. We lost our opportunity to buy up all this property. We lost it. Half the Negroes are afraid to do what it would take to get it back. Because I know how we can get that property back. But half the Negroes, they're not ready for that. They're not ready for that. So we should be honest with ourselves and say, you know what? In Harlem, we lost that. In the 80s, when we could have bought all that property for cheap, we didn't. We was buying 40 and 50 cars, the drug dealers, everybody was doing their thing, partying, furs and all this. We didn't get that property. So guess who got it? The goddamn white man got it. That's who. And he ain't giving it back to you. There's only one way you get that land back. And most of us ain't ready. So therefore, I'm saying, let that white man have this. He can have it. Let's go back to where we started once we were taken, snatched away from the motherland and brought to another land. Let's go back. Let's have a reverse migration. Let's go back to the South. And by the way, when I say this, let me also say this. There's a difference between dirt and soil. If I took a bunch of dirt, that's why I hear kids put it in the dirt. I say, no. That's soil. That's soil. That's not dirt. Dirt, you can put seeds in, you can do, and put water, and there ain't shit growing in there. Because dirt doesn't provide the nutrients. It's not alive like that. It doesn't provide the nutrients you need. Soil, now it may look brown, but it ain't soil. Soil, on the other hand, has a reproductive quality. You can plant seeds of flowers or plant, fruit and vegetables. With some sunlight and proper care, those seeds will become ripened fruit and vegetables that you can take off the vine or from the ground and eat. Dr. Laverne Murphy, when we went to the fields that we cultivate, that we own with the Black Liberation Movement and the National Black Liberation Front, Dr. Murphy took a tomato, whoop, right off the vine and started eating it. Dusted it off, started eating it. Right like that. Just like that, family. You understand? That's what soil does. Soil has a regenerative, reproductive quality that dirt does not have. They are different. They might both be brown or dark, but they are not the same. And so I'd like to suggest humbly that we stop referring to the South as the dirty South. I'd like to suggest humbly that we refer to the South as the fertile South. It's fertile. It's not dirty. It's fertile. Because you can grow things there. I put up a video. I showed you the pear tree, tomatoes, green peppers, watermelons. So I want y'all also to know that Harlem and all these other historically black communities, although we want to preserve the landmarks, the physical landscapes of places because they have memories and nostalgia, let me explain something to you. Africa isn't just in the continent of Africa. Africa is in the hearts, minds, memories, customs, culture, practices, ideology of African descended people wherever they are. This is why Brother Shaka said we can return to Africa without going all the way to the continent. We can go down south and reclaim our African traditions and customs. We can defend ourselves adequately. We got majority populations that are ready. I couldn't believe how many people when I came in said, "Hey, Brother Agyei, the early bird specials, the goddamn white man, wake up, clean up." I was blown away. I was like, wow, y'all watch this? Yeah, we watch all the time. These people are ready, family. Our people down south, I'm not saying everybody, but our people down south, I'm telling you, and you know, one of the challenges was that we had to show some of our people, listen, all black people that live up north are not looking down on our people that live down south. We had a little tension around some of those questions. And we had to remind our brothers, listen, man, I didn't ask to be born in Harlem in New York State, New York City. That decision was made for me by ancestors. And they came here assuming there'd be better opportunity economically. They might be able to get a pension one day. They might be able to join a union and have their labor protected. They came here because they was getting lynched and just brutalized down south by not just white supremacist organizations, but individual white vigilantes or race soldiers. Okay, so let us not buy into this tension of we're from the north, we're smarter and better and more fashionable, and you black people down south are slow and backwards. And now, let's get out of that. Let's get out of that. All of us up north have southern roots. We know this. I can tell you, if you black, you live up north, you got roots in the south of this country. You also have Caribbean roots. Well, how do we know that? Because I know the history of the slave trade. I know where our people were deposited all over the world. So all of you watching this have some type of lineage in the Caribbean. I know that absolutely. I don't even know who you are, possibly. All of you have people that came in the South. My mother came from Montgomery, Alabama. My father's mother, my grandmother, my paternal grandmother, comes out of Virginia, Portsmouth, Virginia. This isn't rocket science, right? So, family, I want us to really understand. I am strongly advocating that you all do the study. Don't listen to me. This is your life. You do the study and research. Talk to your people that live in the South. Assess the political climate. Look at the geography. Look at the gun issues in the South. Look at all of the majority black populations in the South. The internet made the world smaller. When I was young, it was true. New York had certain things before people in the South, because New York for hundreds of years has been one of the industrial, publishing, fashion, and financial centers of the country and the world. But the internet has made the world smaller. It's different now. We got hip hop artists that's doing their thing in Memphis, in Mississippi, in Georgia, West Coast. The world is smaller now. So what was true back in the 70s and 80s and 60s, 70s, 80s is not true anymore. Our ancestors ran from the South, came up north to get away from brutality, labor exploitation, class division. And what are we dealing with in the North right now, family? Brutality from the state, labor exploitation, and class division. Is there a utopia? No, I'm not saying utopia, but I think our best chances for reclaiming land, for being able to build cooperative businesses, you need land to do that. Huh? And you need an economic engine. One of our best moves, our best chess moves we can make is to start going back and joining our Southern brothers and sisters and working with them. If you come from the South, you may bring a certain skill set, experience, and knowledge that we up north are lacking. But I'm going to tell you, it's not one way, family. Because there's people that are black up north that have an exposure to the white man, familiarity with his institutions, intelligence on how he gets down, and an experience that may help our Southern brothers and sisters. So instead of seeing each other as opponents and participating in this bullshit infighting, because you all African, I don't give a damn where you live in this country, you're African. I'm saying let's go where we're afforded the best chance and opportunity to be empowered, where our survival we can actually help to protect, where we can build our own school. Brother Laverne Murphy, Dr. Laverne Murphy, was telling us, how you a nationalist? How you talking about black liberation? And you not building the houses you live in. He got us caught up where we think we got to pay some cracker bank to get some loan from them to a house that's already built, or get some white contractors to build a house. He said we out of our minds. Nationalism is supposed to mean that we take care of food, clothing, shelter up front. He said, how are you a nationalist? You want to be free and you're not seriously growing your own food. The food you eat, you don't have any say so in. His points are not only valid, they are right and exact. And they resonated with me because that's what nationalists and nationalism is about. Operating as a functioning sovereign nation that provides security, food, clothing, shelter, love, peace, happiness, freedom, justice, equality. Going back to the lessons. So I'm saying, family, there's a difference between dirt and soil. And what the goddamn white man has done, in certain respects, has surrounded us with dirt up north. You buy some property, you don't even own the deed to the land. Now, what type of bullshit is that? You can't carry a gun to protect yourself from state-sanctioned law enforcement agents that are nothing but a occupying military force. Disconnected from our indigenous African spiritual practices and cosmology. Buying into white folks' definitions and standards of beauty. Lusting after the white man's goods. Some of us, our biggest day is Friday, payday. Why? So we can give the money we got from the white man right back to them. Then complain about how they mistreat us. I'm telling you, I'm convinced you got to study for yourself that many of us need to strongly consider reverse migration. Take our beautiful black selves to the South, where jobs may be more plentiful, where housing is more plentiful, where you don't just have to participate in some financial arrangement with some cracker bank. You can actually build your own house. Brother Malcolm's father, Earl Little, it was said that he built every house he lived in. He built it. We have black people that are plumbers, electricians, carpenters, architects, construction workers. They can apply sheetrock, they can paint, they can wire the electricity. Why shouldn't we be thinking like that if we're nationalists? And so I'm just making an appeal with you, family. Strongly consider areas of the South. Mississippi was very enticing to me. The warmth and beauty of our people there. People not assuming if you speak, you trying to get with them or kill them. Or everybody that walked by me waved to me. I'm telling you, this is real. Smile, hey, how you doing? Didn't know me from Adam. And then I think about when I went to college upstate New York and how I would come back on the bus for school breaks. And as soon as that bus crossed that George Washington Bridge, family, my face, I remember this, how my face would no longer be relaxed. I would go into, you know what I mean? I would go into that guards up mode. Because up there, things were looser. It was less stress. As soon as I crossed that bridge, I instinctively got into that. Don't start and there won't be none. That mean ice grill. Because of a different culture here. We live with so much stress. Police everywhere, all the time. You driving, you know you didn't do nothing wrong. You know that your license and registration is right and exact. You know your car is inspected. But yet, you thinking, damn, you thinking, damn, did I do something wrong? Is everything all right? You're stressed. People don't want to speak. People don't understand personal space. You standing here, they walking by you, they come this close. You get down and reach out and lick their face. Because we're overcrowded. We weren't made to live like that. We don't speak to each other. We're not neighborly. We're suspicious of everybody. We're overly cynical, overly bitter, overly argumentative. I'm saying, yo, going down south in big numbers, securing property, growing our own food, defending ourselves, building the black nationalist principles that we up north tend to talk about. But because of geographical and other considerations I went through earlier, it's difficult to actualize some of these black nationalist principles. Not impossible, but they're challenges. But imagine you move into a place, let's say a Coldwater, Mississippi, 90% black. Huh? Imagine how it changes the power relationship. We can run a Shaka Shakur for office on a black nationalist, Pan-Africanist platform. And because the place he lives may be 70 or 80% black, we have a chance of actually getting him in an office where he now controls monies, land acquisition and allocation, jobs, and all of these things. Think about it, family. I was deeply impressed. My people on this thread, if you from Mississippi, love y'all, man. I was deeply touched by you. Deeply touched by how you practiced black solidarity. It was moving, man. It was moving. It was spiritual. Okay? Now, I see y'all get into these things about Dr. York. I want y'all, family, try to stay focused. Try to stay focused here. Okay? All right? Because I know that it's easy to get distracted. And Brother Shaka says, yeah, the crackers sneak, etc. He's a devil, yes. But let me tell you something. He was the devil. He is the goddamn devil. And he will continue to be the goddamn devil. Now, what else is new? Shaka, I agree. I agree with you. In other words, we know that already. So knowing that is half the battle. I know my enemy, know they don't like me. I could prepare and defend against that. I can't prepare and defend against people who hate me. But I can't tell that because they don't let it be known. And therefore, I'm disarmed to be able to respond effectively. Let us, family, try to really get over our fears and apprehensions, right? Well, how can I get a job there? Shit, you can barely get a job here. Stop that lie. I got 3 college degrees and skill sets and all this, and there was times that nobody was trying to hire your brother. But whether you want to get a job or create your own job or start your own cooperatively owned business, what I'm telling you is that it's easier to do down south than it is up here. Christine Rickett, it's okay, sister. It's all right. Nothing but love. So I want to tell my southern people, we understand there's a difference between dirt and soil. And y'all ain't the dirty south. Y'all the fertile south. I also want my southern black people to know that there is more to liberation than simply agriculture, right? We need all 9 areas covered, all 9 major areas of human activity. Don't knock on the people who are educators. Isn't your kid in school right now or about to be? Don't you want them to have a strong, empowering curriculum where them and their people figure in prominently in that history and that narrative? Don't you want to make sure that they can navigate this world and transform this world in their own image and interest? Don't you understand that crackers will not provide that type of education? So what is there to worry about? Your kid is definitely getting miseducated here. Why can't we be like Marcus Klein and create these African-centered community homeschools all over the country? Why can't we have a functioning self-defense community patrol unit all over the country that is trained not only in warfare, weaponry, self-defense, but trained in how to talk to people lovingly, trained in how to de-escalate potentially violent conflicts amongst our own community members. People the community respects, people that the community will actually listen to. Huh? So this is all we're saying, family. Now I'm looking at some of the post on this thread, and I know that there is possibly some people a little cynical, a little skeptical. I don't know. Black people got every right to be skeptical, family, in this society. What I'm trying to help us do is reimagine a society where we are cultivating our own land. We have the capability of building our own housing and using all black people to do it. We can defend ourselves. I've never felt more proud in my life than when I was standing outside that community center. And yo, shout out to my man Darryl Davis, Big D. Shout out to my man OG Hollywood. What? These brothers were standing outside that joint with they black shirts, they black pants, and them big guns on their hip openly. It's a whole different thing, family, than we're used to. And so if you have family in the South, which I know you do, and you can afford to get to that reunion or hook up with your people, check them out. Go check out what's going on. You'll be surprised. No, Christine, I know that you're not skeptical, my sister. I wasn't speaking to you. I know black people in general, they're skeptical, and I understand it. White people did their best to Bruce Lee kick any ounce of hope and optimism out of us. They want us to be dejected, depressed, feel like we can't get right. We're incorrigible. And I'm telling you, there's people all over this country that are proving that myth wrong. We can do it. That's right, Christine. We can accomplish anything. And I think we should give serious thought to where we can best accomplish. Y'all want to fight for Harlem, Newark, and all these places? Listen, we lost the battle, family. We didn't step up like we should have back in the 80s when we could have gotten all this property for dirt cheap. We lost that opportunity. We didn't seize it. And because we didn't either recognize the opportunity, because we didn't seize it, the goddamn white man has 90% or more of the property. But it's not always the case down south. So just think seriously about what I said, family. Wukusu and Black Power, shout out to my NBLF brothers on the thread or off this thread. Wukusu and Black Power, shout out to the Black Liberation Movement organization and its members. Wukusu and Black Power, shout out to my black family in Tennessee and in Mississippi. I personally think it's about time for me to strongly consider relocation. Because I'm 50. I'm trying to see where these next 25 or 30 or whatever years I got left can be best lived, where I can best operationalize and practice my politics, where I can see black people exert power in an organized, unified fashion. And what I'm seeing right now is that it's the South. When I was a kid, I never could understand why my aunts and uncles moved to other parts of the country. Why my cousins were growing up in the South and over here and over there. I thought that New York was the best thing since whatever you think the best thing is. And now that I'm older, I get it. My aunts and uncles wanted a place that was safer for their kids. They wanted a place where they could where the money they made, because someone raised the issue of this, you get paid less on average in the South than you would up north. But I want y'all to think about this. It's not always how much you get paid. It's about how far you can make what you get paid stretch. And that question is answered by how much do things cost? See, if you only make $10 an hour, but a gallon of milk is 50 cents, eggs is 50 cents, bread is 50 cents, chicken, no fish is 50 cents, then in that context, you're not making a lot, but with what you make, you're able to sustain yourself and save something. Here in New York, you're making decent money, but it's not going very far. So these are just some things to think about, and I would urge you, talk to people who lived in the North, who moved to the South, and get a sense for how it really plays out. But I'm strongly considering it, family. So once again, that's all I wanted to say. Just wanted to say there's advantages to the South that we need to really think about. There are serious challenges in the North, which I outlined earlier, right? But there are answers to some of our questions if we would be willing and brave enough to relocate. When I was an undergrad, I wanted to create a black settlement. But then now I'm looking like, well, shit, Mississippi alone has 80-something townships. The vast majority are overwhelmingly black. So if we want to exert local political power, or if we want to exert economic power or cultural power, we have all the ingredients in many of these places down south. Brother Shaka moved from New York down south. He said, I'm never coming back to live there. I'll come to visit my people. But he's benefiting from what? The standard of living. He's benefiting from safety, the standard of living. He's benefiting from a culture of Africans who recognize and acknowledge each other and support each other. So it's something to think about, family. Okay, it's something we really need to think very, very seriously about. Don't dismiss this as, oh, here come Agyei with his bullshit again. I know somebody's thought that. But really, family, take it seriously. To own your own property, have your own house, have your house built. Why you got to go through a mortgage? Why can't you build your own house? Think about the camaraderie and the black love you feel where people actually say, how are you doing? And they really want to know, how are you doing? Think about it, family. With that said, I just want to say, peace, Black Power, Kusu. Shout out, salute to the National Black Liberation Front. Shout out, salute to the Black Liberation Movement Organization. Shout out to all my brothers that are down with the MBLF. Shout out to all my peoples in Tennessee and in Mississippi that did such a fine job of hosting us, that they gave me a whole new meaning and understanding of Southern hospitality. See, there's black Southern hospitality and there's white Southern hospitality. The crackers will serve you as much ass kicking, humiliation, degradation, and exploitation as you can take. That's their hospitality. Here, nigga, catch these bullets in your face. Catch this jail sentence. Catch premature death. So Whitey, the cracker, he, in his way, shows you a lot of attention, but it's all negative. But imagine you in a place where black people speak willingly. And when they speak, they actually smile. Think of a place where people may not have all these college degrees and be no engineer and whatever, but they own their own land and grow their own food, worship together, have love for each other. People are doing well materially. Yeah, I'm a revolutionary. Yeah, I'm a black nationalist, but I don't want to be dying. I'm not trying to die broke. I'm not trying to suffer economic persecution for the rest of my life. So family, just think about some of the things I raised. Sister Veronica, you in Mississippi. Sister, stay safe, take care, enjoy. And family, please share this video. Of course, that is absolutely correct, Sister Veronica. To destroy the myth that the black people in the South are uneducated. Well, you know that's a myth, right? We want to destroy that. We got educated people all over the country. But the problem is that those educated people live in an urban, inner city, ghetto, slum environment that's unsanitary and overcrowded. People are stressed all the time. People are harassed daily by the police. Y'all feeling me, family? All right. We got educated people all over the country. We got doctors, lawyers, accountants. We also got activists and organizers in the South that are very serious. So until we can solve the question of supplying our own people with food, clothing, shelter, health care, safety, love, then we as nationalists, Pan-Africanists are not on our job. We have more we can do. And one of the things we can do, let the white man have the North, but he can have it. I want to go someplace where I'm with my people, man. And we going to go through hell, storms, sleet, whatever, together. Loving and valuing each other enough to build the infrastructure of the nation we need and must have. All right? That said, family, thank you for listening. Peace, Black Power, Wakusu. We will win. And that is a fact, Jack. But we're going to win when we start seeing truth and beauty and promise in each other, regardless of land, label, or language. That's how we're going to win, by building our own infrastructure, by taking care of ourselves. Elijah Muhammad showed you. Noble Drew Ali showed you. Marcus Garvey showed you. We showed you in the recent video clip we shared. Okay? That's it, family. Have a blessed day. Peace and Black Power. Stay black. Stay safe. Save your people. We are our saviors. When you look into your child's beautiful eyes, you're looking at your savior. When you look in the mirror, my sisters, you put on your makeup, you're getting your eyebrows tight, you're getting that baby hair right into place. You're looking at your savior. Some of us are beating up and degrading and humiliating our saviors, beating up on the brothers all the time, with no nuance, no ability to say, well, some brothers mess up, some are really good. Just beating up on the brothers. Don't you know that this is your partner in the struggle? Well, family, with that said, peace and Black Power.